Well, first of all, I want to make sure you know that I am not Pastor Ryan Hirsch, unless you don't like the sermon, in which case it's nice to meet you. I'm Pastor Ryan. I also imagine that you're looking at me and you're wondering, what the heck am I wearing? Because today, today's colors would be what? Green. So, well, I'm wearing not only not green, but I'm also wearing two different colors, red and purple. Anybody have any idea why I might be wearing these colors? What, in the back? What's that? Advent. Well, getting there. That's the liturgical answer. What else? I heard Diamondbacks. So Diamondbacks are in the World Series. So you have kind of a goofy priest, okay? And I think it's important to have fun in worship, and so we're having a little bit of fun, and we're wearing. There's nothing in the prayer book that says we have to wear any certain colors. It just says I have to wear a stole, and this is a stole. So according to the prayer book rubrics, we're covered, and we can do that.
Aren't you afraid you'll get in trouble?
Well, we'll get to that later. Now this is going to be an interactive sermon. So I need our young people to be, you're fine up front, but if other young people want to participate, come forward here and sit in the front pew. I'll make it worth your while. Because what is coming up this week? I heard somebody say Halloween, and what do we get on Halloween? Come right over here, Here, you can sit here. What do we get on Halloween? Candy. I've got some candy it's not candy corn. You can sit in the seat. You don't have to kneel. Come on, over here. We can sit here. Brooklyn, come on. So, you can have a seat here. Yeah, and by the way, I think I've got enough candy that if there are some people who are young at heart and they like candy, you can have some candy as well. And so here's the rule is that I'm willing to give you the candy, but you got to ask mom and dad if it's okay if you eat the candy. Okay, that's the stipulation. Okay, and then now I've done my due diligence. So what I want to do, and don't open any right now. Okay, I want to give everybody 10 pieces of candy. So how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's a good size amount of candy, right? Okay. You like candy? Well, good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How about you? You want some candy? You want some candy? Candy for everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we got handfuls of candy here. You don't like candy, do you? You do? You like candy too? Well, then this is maybe the best sermon you've ever heard, then, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and 10 for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and who else wants some candy? Deacon Chuck wants some candy.
I can't ask my mom though, because she's better up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. We have we got lots of people. You want some candy too? Well, I'm going to be popular today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. See, this is the more people that participate, the better this is going to work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You got one piece from Michelle. All right. So we haven't opened our candy yet. And I want us to look into our hand. If we have candy, I want us to look into our hands and see all the candy. There's a lot of candy there, isn't it? Okay. Now what I want you to do is every person put one piece of candy in here. Just one piece. Got to discern carefully because it's a big decision. That's the one that you're willing to part with. All right. Where's? Okay. How about over here? How about over here? The pink one? You want to give me the pink one? Okay. And then you got one? You want it? Here, well, I'll give it back. This is a visual, it's called. Okay. Now, what I want you to do, everybody who has given me a piece of candy back, I want you to look in your hands and tell me, do you notice much difference than there was before you gave me a piece of candy in this basket? No. But do you notice a difference in what was in this basket compared to what's in this basket now? What's that? This has candy now, doesn't it? Okay, and if we had given candy, I didn't have enough to give candy to everybody, but if we had, and everybody put a piece of candy in here, this basket would be pretty darn full, wouldn't it? And the candy that you have in your hands would probably still look pretty well the same, doesn't it? Okay, so each candy in this basket represents 10% of the candy that you had in your hands. 10%. And there's a word that we call tithing. We're doing our stewardship campaign. There's a word that we call tithing. And tithing, you know that I like to talk about the origin of words. And sometimes we talk about Latin, and sometimes we talk about Greek, and I think those are pretty languages. Well, Old English gives us the word for tithing. And Old English, I don't think is that pretty of a language. It's the only language I speak is English, but I don't think Old English is very pretty. And the word tithe kind of sounds kind of gruff in the back of your throat, doesn't it? But tithe means tenth. It's the word that gives us our word tenth. And so when we offer a tithe, we give 10% of what we have. And it goes, in this case, to the church. Okay? And we see what a difference a tithe can make. Okay? So, and it doesn't really impact the amount of candy that we have in our hands, does it? Well, I'm going to give you back your, now that our visual experiment is over, you all get an extra piece of candy for participating. How about that? And there's more candy, by the way, after the service. But I just thought it would be a nice visual. Who am I missing here? Who am I missing? Oh, Chuck. Deacon Chuck does not want his tithe back. Okay, well, that ties in with our story that we shared today, because Jesus asks us to do what? Nice things? Do you know a specific nice thing that he's asking us to do? Be kind to others, but how? He used a big important word that he said were the two most important things that we can do. Do you remember what those two most important things we can do are? What do you think? Giving? Well, it's related. It's related to giving. But somebody asked him a question. They said, what are the most important things that we can do? And he said two things. Two things. Does anybody know what those two things are? Love God, love your neighbor. Those are the two important things that Jesus said we're supposed to do. And those are called the two great commandments. The two great commandments. Love God, love your neighbor. Okay? And the reason we did this little experiment, this little demonstration, is to show what that looks like. To show what that looks like when we're talking about something called stewardship. Now, stewardship means, what it means is we're taking care of something that's been entrusted to us. That's what stewardship means, is that we take care of something that we have responsibility to take care of. Okay? And what we saw with our candy is that if we share a little bit of our candy, then we still get plenty of candy, right? But also there's more candy to go around. And so that creates kind of a visual example of why stewardship is important and why we're in the middle of what we call a stewardship drive. Okay? It's just an example of a way that we can show our love to the people in our life, because we do a lot of really important things. Do you like being here, Maeve? Do you like being here? Yeah, well, that's important. Do you like being here? Yeah, you like being here. I think we're all here because we like to be here. St. John's is a fun place. right? Where we can worship God together, and we can do a lot of fun things together, and we can do a lot of important work together. Okay? And those things require that we have resources to be able to do them, and so that we can continue to share joy to the people around us. And that's why stewardship is important. Okay? Now, what I want us to do is to open this book. I would like, and this I'm going to ask an adult to do, but I want you to open this book. This is called the Book of Common Prayer. I think we all are pretty well familiar with this. And I want us to open it to page 445. And once we have it open, I'm going to ask for a volunteer to read for me what it says on this final paragraph on page 445. Do I have a volunteer? It's a big book, a long book. It is. There's lots of good stuff in there. All right, so you're going to read for us. What does it say?
The minister of the congregation is directed to instruct the people from time to time about the duty of Christian parents to make prudent provision for the well-being of their families and of all persons, to make wills while they are in health, arranging for the disposal of their temporal goods, not neglecting, if they are able, to leave bequests for religious and charitable uses.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, I've got a question. How many people knew that that was in this book? How many people knew that that paragraph was there? 1, 2, 3, 4 hands. I had 5 at the earlier service. Okay? So, not a whole lot of people are aware that that paragraph exists. And at the same time, it says that from time to time, the minister of the congregation is supposed to make sure you know that it exists. Who's the minister of the congregation? Me. Who are the people of the congregation? You. This paragraph is talking about us. Collectively, it's talking about all of us. And it's related to the concept that we were just talking about with our candy. It's making sure that not only are we taken care of now, but that we'll be taken care of for our whole lives. Now, our young people, do you want to make sure you're taken care of for your whole lives? What do you think? What do you think? You want to be taken care of, right? For a long time, right? For your whole life, right? I want to be taken care of for my whole life. Okay? So that's something that we are instructed to do right out of the prayer book. We're instructed to make sure that we've made arrangements to make sure that our loved ones will always be cared for. Okay? And there's something that we can do that's in addition to our regular tithe, our stewardship, is something called a legacy gift. A legacy gift. How many of us have heard of a legacy gift? Okay, so a few more hands are coming up for legacy gifts. Okay, and a lot of people don't know about a legacy gift, and the reason is because the ministers of the congregation are not doing a good job of following that instruction. Right? From time to time, it says, well, consider this one of those times. Okay, a legacy gift is a way that we can ensure that our parish community is going to stay alive and well for years and years and years, even when we're not here attending this parish anymore for whatever reason that is. Right? We can read between the lines. Right? We don't need to go there in a children's sermon, but we know what it means. Right? And a legacy gift makes sure that St. John's will still be here, still be bringing joy to people's lives, still be doing wonderful ministry, still showing the love of God in the world 110 years from now and beyond. Okay? Now in your mind, I want you to picture, you probably can think of some of those old churches on the East Coast, Christmas time, those brick or cobblestone churches that look really pretty in the snow for Christmas, and they even make postcards out of them. Right? Those churches on the East Coast, those churches have been here for hundreds of years. And because of that, they've received hundreds of years' worth of legacy gifts. And because of that, they have multi-million-dollar endowments that they can use to perpetuate the gospel for years and years to come. Okay? Our church is 40 years old, give or take a few years. Okay? So we're not quite at that level yet of having that much history of legacy giving, but legacy giving is something that is important for the mission of the church and for doing what Jesus asked us to do in our gospel today, to perpetuate love for God and love for one another. Okay? And it's a real kindness. I know it isn't always comfortable to talk about, but it's a real kindness to make sure that while our minds are functioning properly and while we're physically able, that we make plans for what we want to happen when we're no longer here. It's a real kindness to people who will still be here, right? Because they won't have, it'll take the guesswork out. They won't have to worry about making sure we decide, or we decide on their behalf what they want done. Right? What do we do? What do we do with Dad's collection of old vintage root beer bottles on the wall here? Right? We know what Dad wanted us to do with those root beer bottles on the wall. We know, and so we do it. Right? We know what kinds of songs we want to hear at celebrations of our lives. Right? We know what kinds of prayers we want to have people say, and it takes the guesswork out. It's a real kindness. It's also a real kindness to make sure that we remember our parish home and that our parish home has resources to continue to share the love of Jesus Christ in the world long after we're no longer attending here. Okay? So what I recommend is that you prayerfully think about these kinds of things. You know, and now, while you're in good health, and while you are in a position of clarity of mind, and your body is functioning properly, right? Now is a really good time to do it, right? To make sure you have all of that planning taken care of now, so that when the time comes, it's a kindness to the people who no longer will have to struggle with making those decisions. So reflect on that. And keep in mind the importance of our gospel message. Jesus tells us, love God, love our neighbors. So let's continue to do that, and we can continue to do that even when we are no longer attending here at St. John's. Amen.